Part 1. Everyday Routine. I used to think our life was a painting of stability. Every morning I woke to the smell of her coffee and the sound of her humming in the kitchen. The sunlight slanted through our bedroom window, just the same way it had for years, lighting up the small imperfections I had stopped noticing. A chipped mug, a crooked picture frame, the way her hair sometimes fell across her face as she read the news on her phone. I didn't mind those things. They were part of our rhythm, part of the quiet ballet of marriage that I thought was unshakable. The little rituals had become sacred to me. Her hand in mine as we walked to the car, the way she laughed at my bad jokes, the nightly debates over what show to watch. These were small anchors in my day. I felt content, even if the days were repetitive. I mistook comfort for fulfillment, routine for trust, and silence for honesty. I didn't see the cracks forming beneath the surface because I wasn't looking. I chose not to. Part 2. The Past. When we first met, she was fire. Her laughter was untamed, her curiosity infectious. We lived in bursts of color, nights of music, mornings of adventure. Everything about her drew me in, and I gave her my whole heart, believing that someone like her could never tire of someone like me. Our love, I thought, was invincible. We built a home together, shared dreams, fought small fights, made up, and kept moving forward. Somewhere along the line, comfort replaced fire. I believed that stability was the pinnacle of love. I didn't question the changes. I assumed that if I loved her quietly, if I provided stability, she would remain mine. That assumption was the seed of my blindness. Part 3. Subtle changes. It started with small things. Her smile didn't reach her eyes as often. Her phone, once discarded casually on the counter, began to vanish into pockets and drawers. I chalked it up to stress at work, deadlines, the mundane pressures of life. But a quiet suspicion began to gnaw at me, a soft unease I didn't acknowledge. I remember one night, sitting alone on the couch, staring at the muted glow of the TV, feeling a tension I couldn't name. I told myself I was imagining things. I repeated the mantra of denial. She loves me. She has no reason to hurt me. This is all in my head. But denial is a fragile shield, and it was already starting to crack. Part 4. The Discovery. I found the messages by accident. Her phone, left unattended, buzzed with a notification. A name I didn't recognize appeared, playful, intimate. My hand shook as I opened it. Words I thought were only for me. Words I believed she reserved for our private world were being sent to someone else. I read and reread the messages. My stomach churned. My heart pounded so violently I thought it would break through my chest. The mundane details of our life, the breakfast she made, the way she kissed me goodbye, the sound of her laughter, turned into cruel mockery. How could she do this while I thought we were so solid? Part 5. Immediate reaction. I felt a storm of emotions I didn't know how to name. Betrayal, rage, disbelief. My hands were clammy, my throat tight, my head spinning. I paced the apartment, my mind looping through every interaction, every missed glance, every secretive smile. I wanted to confront her, scream, collapse, disappear. The rational part of me, the part I clung to desperately, whispered to wait, to breathe, to gather evidence. But the emotional side, the wounded, trembling side, wanted to explode, to tear down everything, to make her feel the same emptiness I felt. Part 6. Reflection. I sat on the edge of our bed, staring at the sheets she had once claimed as her favorite. I thought about our early years, our fights, our reconciliations. I remembered how I used to think I could read her soul, how I believed she was mine in every way. And now the rug had been pulled from under me. I felt like a stranger in my own life. I wondered where I had failed. Had I stopped being attentive? Had I stopped being exciting, loving, worthy? My mind tortured itself with hypotheticals, revisiting every moment for clues I couldn't see at the time. Part 7. Confrontation. I couldn't wait any longer. That night I confronted her. My voice was quieter than I intended, tinged with disbelief and pain. I saw the messages, I said. Her face paled. She didn't speak at first. Her eyes were wide, shame flickering in the corners, but also defensiveness. It's complicated, she whispered. It doesn't mean anything. I didn't want to hurt you. Her excuses tumbled out, awkward, stumbling over each other. I could hear the hesitation, the guilt, but also the relief that she might not be facing the full consequences of her actions. Part 8, Emotional Explosion. I couldn't contain it. Words that had been locked inside me exploded. Anger, pain, disappointment, everything I had swallowed for months, maybe years, spilled out. Does it mean nothing to you? Everything we built? Our home? Our life? My voice cracked. Tears threatened to fall, but I clenched my jaw to keep them at bay. She tried to explain, to justify, to shift blame, but the weight of her betrayal was too heavy. Every excuse sounded hollow. I realized then that nothing she said could erase what had been done. Part 9, Physical Sensations. I could feel it in my body, the tightness in my chest, the ache in my stomach, the trembling in my hands. I felt hollow and heavy at the same time, a paradox of emptiness and overload. Sleep eluded me. I couldn't eat, couldn't think clearly. My own apartment, once a sanctuary, felt like a prison. Every object, a mug, a pillow, a book, reminded me of her presence and the lie beneath it. Part 10, The Turning Point. Days passed in a blur. I oscillated between anger and numbness. I couldn't bear the thought of losing her entirely, yet I couldn't forgive the betrayal so easily. I began to confront myself, asking the painful questions. Can trust ever return? Can love survive this? Or is the life I thought we had nothing but an illusion? I started journaling, writing down thoughts, feelings, details I feared I would forget or distort. It was the only way I could process the chaos inside me. Part 11, Seeking Support. I reached out to a close friend, someone I could trust to listen without judgment. Speaking aloud, hearing her voice on the other end, I realized how alone I had felt. The act of naming my pain, of admitting that my marriage was fractured, was terrifying and relieving all at once. I also considered therapy, the idea of professional guidance to navigate the labyrinth of betrayal. The thought of someone analyzing my feelings, helping me find clarity, gave me a sliver of hope. Part 12, Reevaluating the Relationship. I began observing her again, noticing both familiar and unfamiliar patterns. Some of her affection was genuine, some forced. Her guilt was palpable, but it didn't erase the hurt. I questioned whether this was salvageable or whether our history was a weight pulling us both into the abyss. I confronted myself with an uncomfortable truth. Love alone might not be enough. Respect, trust, and honesty are equally essential, and without them, the foundation collapses. Part 13, Decision. After weeks of torment, reflection, and conversation, I reached a decision. We could try therapy, attempt to rebuild what was broken, but I also had to protect my own heart. I couldn't blindly step back into normalcy, pretending nothing had happened. I needed boundaries, transparency, and a commitment to change from both of us. Alternatively, I prepared myself mentally for the possibility of walking away. If rebuilding proved impossible, I had to accept that love could exist alongside loss, that sometimes survival meant letting go. Part 14, Healing Process. I focused on myself, on rebuilding my life from the inside out. I exercised, wrote, spent time with friends, and allowed myself to grieve without shame. Slowly, the anger became less consuming, replaced by a quiet sadness and reflection. I learned to sleep again without dread, to eat without forcing it, to breathe without the constant tension of betrayal. I realized healing is not linear. Some days a memory would hit me like a punch. Other days I could smile genuinely, recalling happier times without immediate pain. Part 15, Reflection and Advice. Now, months later, I look back with a clearer mind. Betrayal shattered my illusions, yes, but it also taught me resilience. I learned that ignoring small signs, taking love for granted, and avoiding difficult conversations can allow cracks to grow unnoticed. If I could offer advice, it would be this. Listen to your intuition, value trust above routine, and never let comfort blind you to reality. Pain is inevitable, but it can become wisdom. And sometimes survival means choosing yourself, learning from the heartbreak, and carrying the lessons forward, not bitterness.